Today on Nemology, we sit down with a guest whose life story feels almost unreal. But every part of it is true. Our guest, Joel Elster, also known as the Nomadic Closer, has lived more lives than most people ever will. Born in the UK and raised in Spain after his family unexpectedly moved because of a chance encounter in a bar, Joel went on to travel through 51 countries, work in luxury beach clubs, and eventually help open high-end nightclubs in Dubai, living a life filled with money, excess, and nonstop parties until he hit rock bottom at the very top. After losing everything during the pandemic, dropping from 32 restaurant locations to nothing, and ending up with $36,000 in debt, living back with his parents, Joel reinvented himself completely. He became one of the most effective high-ticket closers in the industry and built his own recruitment agency called Nomadic Closer, helping closers and companies scale with better systems and better people. In this episode, Joel opens up like never before. The mistakes, the breakdowns, the plant medicine revelations, and the purpose-driven mission that changed his entire life. Get ready. This is one of those conversations that forces you to reflect on your own path. Welcome to Nemology. Joel, welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir.
My man, you're one of my favorite people down here. I know you about a year and a half. Mr. Nomadic Closer himself.
Here I am.
And dude, you've been to quite a few countries, haven't you?
A few, not too many.
How many total?
Exactly 51.
Holy crap, man.
Yeah. Who's counting though?
Who's counting? Yeah, it doesn't matter. So, dude, how did you actually end up here? Like, what's the origin story for that? Because you lived in Spain as well, right?
I did. How much time we got?
Well, we got time. We can get into it.
All right, I'm gonna try and say this as short as possible.
Yeah.
Born in the UK.
Yeah.
I was 4 years old when I was in Marbella, which is in Spain, with the family. And it was weird. Like one day, my dad's, I don't remember this. Apparently, this is what they told me, so I don't remember. But apparently, my dad was at a bar one night on holiday, and this random guy at the bar started chatting to my dad. They got on, they got drunk together, and then he just said, "Hey, listen, I actually have a company. I think I'd really like to work with you. Do you want to come down to my office tomorrow and see if you like what I do?" He was like, "Yeah, let's go." Long story short, went to the office. It was timeshare.
Okay.
Then. And he absolutely loved it. Had a really good offer. And then came home and he said to the family, he's like, "By the way, we're moving to Spain." And my mum was like, "What do you mean moving to Spain? We're here on holiday. What are you talking about?" He said, "No, we're staying." What's happened? He said, "No, nothing. You know so-and-so that I met last night at the bar, he offered me a job and I think we should stay." So that was it. So 22 years later, I'm still in Spain. So born in the UK, age of 4, went to Spain. And I had the most incredible life in Spain. Incredible life. Went to a Spanish school, left school when I was 15, just because I just didn't like school.
Oh, me too.
Absolutely hated school. I was the English guy amongst a lot of Spanish and Moroccans, just get into fights all the time. Age 13 to 15, jumping the school barriers, going down to the beach, smoking weed, just chilling.
Yeah.
Like literally chilling.
Yeah.
And I had learning difficulties. So I learned things very, very differently. So I thought, you know what? I just need to leave. I can't continue. Age 15, decided to get a real job.
Really? At 15?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I started working when I was like 12, doing things that I shouldn't be doing.
Right.
And then, age 15, I was like, okay, I need to leave. What can I do? So I got introduced to a guy who actually worked creating movies. He was a movie producer. And I didn't know what movie producer was. I just thought movies are movies. And he said, "Joe," he said, "for the summer, if you want, we're launching a movie and 7 documentaries. Would love you to come and be a runner and just help us." So anyway, I'll get back to the story in a second, but I did that for the next several years. Absolutely loved it. Did that in the winter. In the summer, I started working on beach clubs. And it was great because in the summer, I was working on the beach clubs. In the winter, I was working in the movies. And it got to a point where I was making really good money in the summer. I'm like, now's time I can actually start traveling. So all the money that I made in the summer from the age of, I guess, 17, 18. Yeah, that was it. So 17, I started traveling, got a fake ID because I wasn't 18. And then I just went to Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, Laos. Then I went to Australia. And then I went to Central America, South America. And I started traveling so much that all the money that I made 6 months working on the beach, traveling then for 6 months, spending all my money, coming back broke and starting all over again. So I did that till I was about 26. And then I got headhunted to open a nightclub in Dubai.
Huh, okay, Dubai.
Literally.
Yeah.
So when I told my mum, I said, Mum, I've been headhunted to go and open a nightclub in Dubai. She said to me, I mean, do they have alcohol there? Do they... Like,
That's a fair point.
Like, you're going to open a nightclub and how... It's a bit weird. She said, oh, and I've also seen some news where you can't hold hands with people, you can't kiss in public, and I'm pretty sure I saw someone get arrested for having sex on the beach. I'm like, Mum, that happens anywhere, not just in Dubai. She was like, as long as you go and you don't have sex on the beach, you're fine.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
So you had one restriction, but everything else cool.
Yeah, literally. When I turned up to Dubai, it was absolutely insane. So we opened this nightclub called VIP Room. And it was the first time that a company actually brought Europeans to open a nightclub in Dubai. And the interesting thing was, most nightclubs in Dubai were run by Indians, Filipinos, all the waiters, Sri Lankans. So we had us, right? We had years of experience working on beach clubs, champagne parties, the whole lot. And we changed the culture. So I'd like to think that I was part of changing the nightclub culture in Dubai.
Wow.
Where due to understanding human psychology, sales, upselling, and just make a shit ton of commission, how to make money by referring people to other people, we added all that strategy in to that nightclub, and we just made an absolute killing. I was only meant to be there for 2 months, just make money and then go back.
Yeah.
But made so much money in those first 2 months, I'm like, yo, I'm staying.
How long did you stay?
Stayed for 13 years.
Jesus Christ, 13 years in Dubai?
13 years in Dubai.
Wow, dude. So that was what, 2012?
December 2012.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you were kind of there. I mean, that was still pretty early, considering what they got going on there now.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw all of that get built and change over that time.
Yeah. The interesting thing is, when I was running the beach clubs in Marbella, Ocean Club, Nikki Beach, you had a lot of the Arabs that came there for the summer.
Mm-hmm.
And you thought you knew how to deal with them. They're in Spain. If they weren't very polite, you could educate. But now I'm in their country, right? So it's very interesting how we had to re-educate them in their own country, how to act in a nightclub. So a lot of them came to the nightclub to spend money, but they didn't drink because so everyone was watching. So then we had to think, okay, well, how can we start getting them to spend money without them drinking? So how do you think we did it?
VIP tables, hookah, cigars.
Hookahs, yeah. Oh, yeah, that one. Not, yeah. So a lot of the guys, well, I mean, let's talk about it, right? So a lot of the guys are like, well, listen, I mean, I'm happy to spend the minimum, but what can you bring me? So we had the waiters, went out, started making relationships with the cabin crew, which is Emirates cabin crew. It was like 60,000 Emirates cabin crew, something crazy. And we just started inviting them into the club for free. Right next to the guys, we just gave them a table for free. Then the guys would start sending over bottles of champagne. And then we thought, oh, there's a little business here. So then what we did, we made sure that we had 80 girls drinking for free before we actually opened. So when people walked in, there was just girls everywhere. And then that's how we kind of started. We also had this thing where it's like, how can we find the mega wealthy that always comes to our club? So what we did is I sectioned out the waiters and I allocated them into different regions and looked after hotels. So their goal was go to the hotel, find concierge, and then say to them, hey, here's some money up front. Anyone that has a black Amex, send them my way. If they spend, I'm going to come on your day off and I've got your number and I'm just going to give you more money. And these guys are used to making like $300 a month.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, you give them like maybe $300 under the table. They're like, oh my God. So all of a sudden, they're now speaking to everyone else in the hotel saying, yo, if you know anyone that's a big spender, introduce them to me, and then I'm going to put them in touch with Joel. And then so eventually these concierges that were making $300, they were banking like $2-3 grand a month at some point.
Wow, that's a huge difference for them. I mean, from 300, I mean, you 10x.
That's it.
Wow.
So we scaled massively in Dubai, but the issue was I was just around money all the time. And I was living like a rich man as a poor man. You know, I just see all this money being spent, and I thought, oh, well, I can do that as well. But I didn't have the money they had, but I wanted the lifestyle they had. So I was spending money. All the other waiters there were spending money. And we realized that it got to a point that this whole life was just super fake. Super fake. Everyone in a nightclub goes because they want to escape from something.
Right.
So but you see people that turn up into nightclubs and you see them for who they are in the club. And then you start making friends. And then they invite you to after parties. They invite you onto their yachts, into their, a penthouse, supercars. And you think you have friends. And as time goes by, when you need some help, right? Whether it's emotionally or whatever it is, no one was there. No one was there to help you. And it became a very, very lonely place where everyone just in Dubai wanted to just use you. They wanted to use you for who you are. They were, what I liked about it, and I can admit now, is I could go to restaurants, I could go to nightclubs, I had all the models with me, I could eat for free, I could drink for free. But I forgot I was married. Right? I was just chasing the significance, and I just wanted to be a somebody. And everywhere I went, people were like, oh, Joel, welcome. Here's a table, here's your bottle. And I was just chasing significance. And when I had everything I wanted, I was at my lowest point.
Yeah.
Lowest point. So packed everything in and then decided to move to Bali.
So would you say that, in your entire life, that would have been your darkest moment?
I've had a few dark moments. So that would have been the first darkest moment. Absolutely. When you think you had the cars, the watches, I was buying 3 new suits every month. I was just living life. I was going to all the best parties, meeting all the celebrities. We did things I didn't even know existed. And then I felt like when you have everything and you've done everything, it's like, okay, well, what's next? And then I kept trying to find pleasure without. And I never kind of sat down and figured out the journey within. And when I sat there and I tried to figure out who I was, I had no idea who I was. No idea. So my wife left. The job that I had eventually sucked because I didn't like the people that was around me. I realized that people just wanted to use me for the contacts or coming into my club and drinking for free. And I just didn't know why I was working 16 hours a day to live a life that I didn't want. So when you live a life for so many years and you get to a point where you just hit a brick wall, you're like, well, what do I do now? Who am I? Have I just wasted 22 years in hospitality, getting to a point where I've always wanted to be, and now I'm here. I'm like, this is horrible. And they do say that when the loneliest place is at the top.
Yeah.
And when I was at the top and I had everything I wanted, I was empty. So I literally gave away everything. Got rid of my car, gave away all my suits. I had no more watches, just gave everything away. And at that point in time, I actually moved to Sri Lanka before Bali because I just wanted to just figure out who I was. And I had a lot of time by myself. And I started realizing I don't need anyone else to make me happy. The only person that can make me happy is me. And the weird thing is I started without realizing, I just started becoming vegan. Right? I know that's a bit of a strange turn, but I became vegan. I felt good and I looked better. I looked like 15 years younger. I could think clearer. And I started realizing, oh my God, what I want to do, I want I want to help other people that have been in my situation to get healthier, to get clearer on their goals. And strangely enough, I became vegan, and I thought, I don't want to preach veganism, because the first rule of vegan.
Yeah.
You got to tell everyone you're vegan.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So then I thought, okay, well, how can I preach veganism without preaching? So then I actually moved to the UK for 3 years, and I opened a chain of vegan restaurants.
What?
Yeah. So weird. I actually started street food. So it was horrible. We started in like November, freezing cold, started selling burgers and hot dogs. And all the burgers and hot dogs were different color buns. So you had like the red was beetroot, or you had green was matcha. And we started doing really well. We then opened 13 different locations. We had a vegan meat factory where we were creating vegan chicken, burgers, sausages. We were in 72 different restaurants. Incredible. Millions a month. And then COVID happened.
Oh, no.
COVID happened. Yep. We was in the process of getting a valuation, and we didn't even get the valuation back. COVID happened. The first part of COVID was okay, because then we thought, oh, maybe we can take over pub kitchens, because pubs are shut.
Yeah.
So then we started massively opening deliveries in multiple different sections around the UK. But the faster you scale, the harder it is to find staff, especially in hospitality. Like, staff are just not loyal whatsoever.
Yeah, that's true.
So again, at that point, I was like, right, it's all or nothing. And it was horrible. Horrible. We went from 13 locations to 32 locations. And then there was, I'd say 70% of the staff, no word of lie, 70%, always made excuses. Oh, I can't come. I've got COVID, this, that, and the other. Trying to survive, lost everything, hundreds of thousands in debt. And I'm like, fuck. Moved back in with mum and dad, age 30. And I'm like, what the fuck have I done? age 35. Age 30. Age 30, moved back in with mum and dad. And it was tough. Especially because I've had everything, and then everyone was like, why are you starting street food? And then started all these restaurants, and then started the vegan meat factory, then had to shut it all down. But I've never been a person that's sat there for months being depressed. I'm like, okay, what's next? My mum always used to say something to me. She said, Joel, life is like a book. Every chapter you have in life is just a chapter in a book. Doesn't matter how bad, how good it was. Once you turn that page and you get to a new chapter, you carry on. You're never going to go back to the old chapters, because you've read it, you've had it, you've lived it. Carry on. So that's always stuck with me. So whenever there's something bad that's happened, I'm like, okay, that was shit.
Yeah.
Let's turn page and let's carry on. So when that happened, just took a one-way flight to Bali. I was like, I just can't be doing this. Had no money whatsoever. So at this point, when I sold all the assets, I was $26,000 in debt. So I managed to clear everything. $26,000 in debt. And I tried, at this point, doing anything possible to start working online. So a friend of mine was like, listen, you've been in hospitality for a long time. You've run clubs, you know how to communicate. Why don't you just try and communicate and sell things online? I'm like, how do I sell things online? They're like, well, there's this thing called a closer. I've got a friend who runs a couple of offers. Maybe I can introduce you and you can close for him. Close? Okay. So he introduced me to this guy, and it was selling a dating program.
Okay. Who was it for?
One of the guys who now works with school.
Okay.
Is it Andrew Kirby?
Okay.
So yeah, he works for school.
Yeah.
Which is quite interesting. It's really interesting. He was running an offer for someone, I think it was called Game Changers.
Okay.
So
yeah.
And I was there, and I'm talking to all these guys that have never been on a date, they've never touched girls before.
Yeah.
And I found it very entertaining.
It's awesome.
I found it extremely entertaining. Where, because I'm a guy that had a lot of fun in my life, and I don't think I've ever struggled. Never really thinking how people struggle with what came so easy to me. So I didn't have a script. I didn't know how to sell. I just made them feel like shit.
Yeah.
I made them feel like absolute shit. What happens if you know, you never get married? What are your parents going to think of you? Oh, it'll be terrible. And them thinking that it's terrible, how do you think they're going to look at you? And what if, you know, and then I used to say something like, you know, the definition of hell? What is it? When you're laying on your deathbed and you meet the person you could have become, you meet the person that could have had that family that you never had, but you never became that person because you didn't take actions. That's the definition of hell.
Mm.
So do you want to be that person on your deathbed that meets the person you could have become, or do you want to grow a pair and take action?
Yeah.
And that was working. I was like, oh shit, I'm closing deals. I just went really hard on the consequence, but I never understood sales scripts. I never knew there were sales scripts. I just wanted to influence someone as much as possible to take action. And then all of a sudden I started seeing this guy online called Jeremy Miner. And I'm like, man, this guy, Jeremy Miner, he's talking about sales, he's talking about human behavior, psychology, an actual script, frameworks, stages in a conversation. I'm like, this is really interesting. So he had a 3-day free workshop.
Nice.
I'm like, you know what? I'm going to sign up. At that point, I was making $3,000 a month. So I could never really get out of debt. It was just living. I was still in debt. And I was making $3,000 a month for the first 2 months. And I'm like, I know I can close more. Like, I'm having 10 conversations. I'm closing 20%. I know I can close more. So after this 3-day workshop, I'm like, yeah, I know exactly what to do now. I started implementing a few things. My close rate went from 20% to 25%. And I'm like, I still don't think I understand what this whole 3-day workshop is. Like, I understand the structure, but I don't. I don't know why it's not working. So I booked a call with one of his sales guys. And then I'm like, I'm just going to sit there and listen to the sales guy and learn from the sales guy, because I've got no fucking money.
Mm-hmm.
Like 26 grand in debt at the moment. Like, I can't. Anyway, I jump on the phone with him. The guy was called Bill Walsh, who now has his own program called The Objection Box. Before, he was working for Jeremy Miner selling NEPQ. That was the name of the framework. So, get on the call. I'm on Zoom, and I can see he's reading a script. I'm like, although he's reading a script, it's really fucking good. Like, he's taking me on this like journey. His future pacing me. What will my life look like if I have everything I want, logistically, emotionally? Takes it away with the consequence that I kind of understood. And I'm like, yo, this was incredible. And then I said, listen, bro, like, full transparency, I'm on the call just to learn. Like, I'm not going to buy anything. I'm in debt. He was like, yeah, that's not a problem. He said, can I ask you a question? Yeah. He said, how much debt are you in? 26 grand. He said, how much are you making at the moment? I said, like $3,000 a month. He said, how much time do you think, if nothing changes, it will take you to get out of debt? 8 months. He said, it's going to be more. He said, but call it 8 months. He said, if there's a way to get out of debt faster, would you be against having that conversation? Well, of course I'm not against that conversation. He said, okay, have you ever thought about going into more debt to get out of debt faster?
I love it.
I said, are you a dickhead? I literally said that. And he said, no. He said, if there's a way you could get out of debt faster, would you not be open to having that conversation? I was like, yeah, let's have that conversation. I don't know what he did. He started guiding me through, like, if you couldn't foul, would you do it? Yes, but why though? Double tie downs, getting me to convince myself that this is what could get me out of debt faster. All I needed was the cash. Managed to get money out of my mum, my sister, and my great uncle. Right?
Holy fuck.
10 grand. Now I'm 36 grand in debt.
Love it. Yep.
Took me 4 months to get out of debt.
There you go.
4 months. absolutely insane. My close rate went from 25% to 45%. I was taking less calls, more close rates. And I'm like, wow, incredible. So then I'm like, wow, my dream was always to make like 10 grand a month. Like,
Yeah.
Joe, imagine if you make 10 grand a month, like, and then you start making it, you're like, can't survive on this, because your quality goes up. You start investing into more courses, personal development. You want to, and then all of a sudden, I'm like, wow, I'm now making more money than ever before. I remember I hit my first 42K in commissions. Bro, it was the second worst time of my life.
Oh, fuck.
Not the best.
You fucking hate making money, bro. What's going on?
It was weird. It was weird, bro. My whole life, I wanted to make 10 grand a month. Now I made 42K. I'm sitting there. I was actually laying in bed. One eye open. I've scrolled to open my bank account. I've seen the 42Ks landed into my account. Bro, I cried. I had tears rolling down my eyes, and I'm like, this has not made me any happier. I've just made the most amount of money I've ever made, and fuck, I feel like how I felt when I was lost last time. What's happened? What's wrong? Money, it's not money that makes me happy. I'm like, gotta try and figure out what the thing is. So then I started going on this journey, trying to figure out my why, my mission, vision, value, purpose. And I went down the plant medicine road.
Okay.
So started seeing lots of shamans, ayahuasca, and no word of a lie, several of the ceremonies that I had with ayahuasca showed me exactly my mission, vision, value, and purpose. And from there, I created the business that I have now, the charity that I have now. I just have such a clear path on what I need to do in life that I thought, that's it. I just need to implement.
Yeah.
Done. Although I knew what to do and I could see it, I didn't know how to integrate it. And I feel like a lot of people that go down plant medicine, road and do ayahuasca, they have a great memory, a great experience, but then it's how do they integrate that into day-to-day life? So fortunately, someone introduced me to an integrator. She was a hypnotherapist, NLP coach. She doesn't like to have labels, but to give context. And she really helped me understand the visions and what it was and help me integrate. And it was absolutely incredible. And I want to tell you what happened on one of the ceremonies. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, I just need a bit of guidance.
Yeah.
I need guidance on why I'm here, why I'm making money, because this money's not making me happy. So I had this vision of, it was kind of like receiving, holding, and then giving. And I'm like, what is this? Like, I'm receiving something, I'm holding it, and then I'm giving it away. What is this? And then all of a sudden, I just thought, oh my God, I'm just a vehicle. Like, this is a vessel. I'm just a vehicle. I'm fortunate now to be making money.
Yeah.
But that money's not mine. So the more money I make, I'm the vehicle to be able to give more money away. I'm like, that's why I want to make money. That's my purpose. So then created charities. I help more closers make more money by opening a recruitment agency called Nomadic Closer, right? Because the Nomadic Closer also came out of one of the visions that I had. So now I'm like, wow, I understand my purpose, my mission, my vision, my values, and everything just started just flowing, bro. And that happened 2021.
Well, that's pretty interesting because when you had that happen in Dubai, you literally did the same thing. It just maybe wasn't as clear because when you weren't happy, you were making all this money, you weren't happy, and you just gave everything away. Mm-hmm. It was kind of like a precursor to what you got going on now.
I just wanted to cut the negativity that I had from a past life.
Yeah.
Just wanted to cut and move on.
Yeah.
Without understanding. And I thought I knew the journey and where I needed to go, but it was just a stepping stone.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I was just trying something different.
So you mentioned a couple of people that helped you along your way. Who would you say was the most influential coach or mentor in your life?
Good question. There's a guy called Bogdan Mikov, and he is an incredible human being. He's the most disciplined guy I've ever met. He's been through a hell of a lot. And I would say he's been one of the biggest influences that I've had as a good friend, as a mentor, helping me rewire my brain. He's just an incredible human being. Incredible human being. And then the sales mentors I've had.
Yeah.
Sean Ray is another guy who I highly respect. He's one of my mentors that helped me really understand Jerry Miner's NEPQ sales process, to not just understand it, but how to adapt it into my unique self.
Yeah.
Because I kept trying to be like the coach. I kept trying to be.
Yeah.
And people are like, yo, why are you trying to be Jeremy Miner? He said, you're never going to be Jeremy Miner. You're never going to be first best. I'm like, well, I want to be first best. They're like, no. You need to become first best of yourself so then you can beat that other person. So I'm like, okay, what does that mean? I need to be able to, change it into my own style so then I can embody it and then put it into action and become the first best of myself, not the first best of someone else. Because you're never going to be first best of someone else.
That's true.
And that's what happens to a lot of people. They see someone they admire and they try and be like that person so much that they lose their identity. So let's go back. Okay, that person, you look up to that person inspires you. What do they do that you can do for yourself in your own style so you're not copying someone, you're being authentic?
Yeah.
And it's that authenticity that people miss.
It's incredibly difficult, and especially now, I'm sort of glad that it happened, but people got to be careful with that a lot. I mean, we had, I remember, early 2000s, like if you read self-help books, if you're listening to podcasts, I mean, not that there was many podcasts back then, but, even Tony Robbins, people are like, oh, what's wrong with you? Why do you need help? What are you trying to, are you fucking retarded? Why are you listening to this? And then we went complete wokeism in the 2010s, and then 2020s, Andrew Tate came online and a bunch of others like him. And now you got the whole red pill community. And a lot of people, they go the other way, but you go so far that, you're never going to be Tate because Tate is Tate. So you got to figure out who are you in your own life. You could be as great as him or bigger or better or more viral, but it's got to be in your own style. And you can't just go and copy another man's life, because you're not going to be happy even if you could. If you snap a magic wand, whatever it is, you're never going to truly enjoy that life anyway. Who wants to smoke 3 cigars a day? Maybe you don't like smoking. But if you want to copy him, you got to smoke 3 cigars a day. That's what the man does. So now you're going to be puffing away and you don't even like it. It's very, very interesting, the journey of life and authenticity. But I feel the more that becomes your purpose, the easier and better you feel about all the difficulties that come, because you kind of have that guidance of where you're going. Whereas just the copying side, man, that's tough.
100%.
Yeah.
I think the most important thing is finding a mentor that has what you want and lives how you want to live.
True.
And that's what I've always been fortunate enough to do. Something I haven't told you really is I stuttered till the age of 15. My communication skills and my confidence was horrible. I didn't want to be in public. I didn't want to speak in public. Had this horrible stutter. And I found this mentor that he was like, Joel, I used to have a stutter. Joel, I know what you're going through. I would love to take you under my wing and show you what I do, how I communicate, how I influence people, how I make my money. But it's not going to be easy for you. It's like, sure, let's go. But what he really taught me is how to influence people by getting others to come up with the answers rather than putting them into buckets. Being super curious. Because a lot of times what happens, and this relates into sales as well, what happens a lot of time is if you ask someone a question, it's like, so let's say in real estate, let's say you're a real estate agent, you're showing someone around. Before you're showing them around, if you had to compromise on something, would it be area, size, or price? Well, what if it's the fourth one? Or if there's 2 things that you're looking for in a perfect house, would it be size or would it be location? Well, what if it's a third one?
Mm-hmm.
So rather than making boxes, you ask them open questions. You get them to come up with the answer and you get them to take responsibility for their answer. Because if they take responsibility, it's their idea and it has more value. If it's your idea, it has less value.
Yeah.
So how can you start asking questions where when you become smart and understand what you do, you can start asking rhetorical questions. What do rhetorical questions do? It's asking questions, it's planting seeds in someone's mind where by asking this question, you know exactly what they're going to say, but they say it with their own words. And then what happens is they're like, oh, never said it out loud. Yeah. I mean, with you, how many times have you thought something and then you said it out loud and you've turned around and you're like, oh my God, I've never said it out loud before.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it, you're right. So that is the power of influence. Influencing someone to do something they want to do by the power and the quality of your questions. So that was the biggest lesson I learned from that mentor.
And who was that?
It was a guy who now is a billionaire tech genius, so I can't mention his name. Yeah.
Seems like the type of guy that would
He's
know
a
something like
billionaire
that.
tech genius, living in between Miami, Monaco, Marbella, you name it, Dubai.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Man, that's inspirational. But I want to know, in your life, you put everything together. What was your biggest mistake?
What was my biggest mistake? Having business partners.
Holy fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to hear this.
Having business partners. I'm a visionary.
Yeah.
So I have incredible ideas and I have shiny object syndrome. So I always needed someone who's the integrator.
Right.
Joel, let me get your ideas. Let me understand it. Let me say, yes, let's do this. No, let's not do this. And I'll help implement it. And I thought, okay, well, if I find that person, I can start a business. So found a business partner who was the integrator. We had the same mission, vision, and values at the beginning, but then his changed. And at the same time, due to being new to having business partners, I didn't have a shareholders agreement. It was just an absolute nightmare. So I thought I learned my lesson, but I didn't. Found another business partner who, I thought had the same mission, vision, value, and purpose. When times got hard, they split. Left me with everything. So, and then it just carried on. So then 2021, 2 and 3 were some of the best years of my life. 2024, last year, as things were going so well, I thought, okay, now it's time to open multiple different businesses, multiple different business partners. Let's just expand. 2 things happened. One, I didn't have full control on anything anymore, or I didn't have focus on anything 100%. And 2, there were so many business partners that weren't given 100%. Things started just dying. Business partners just started screwing me over or disappearing or losing faith and just dropping off. And it was probably the hardest part of my career, where is it me? Am I not good enough? Our business is failing because I don't have what it takes. But in reality, it was me not having faith that I could actually do it by myself. So what I do now is, rather than business partners, just hire people. Create entrepreneurs, not entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm.
People that want to grow within your business, that can see your value, that are on salary, that are happy, and you build culture. And then that way, once you learn to delegate, that's where things change. But I'd say, I thought having business partners would be the key to my success, but it was probably the key to my failure. So was that my fault not choosing the right business partners? Was that my fault for not communicating? It wasn't my fault. It was, things just didn't work out. And that's what happens in business. It doesn't matter how much time, money you put into it. Sometimes it's like marriage.
Yeah.
Marriages don't always work out. You think they're going to, But then it's like, okay, am I going to be single for the rest of my life? No, you keep on looking. But with business, you don't need business partners. You can just hire people that are smarter than you that can help you grow. So that's my biggest lesson.
Dude, that's deep, because I've had, great partnerships. I've also had terrible partnerships. And I realized pretty much the same thing. And my one coach, JT Fox, he said, look, you got to understand the strategy to making $10,000, $100,000, $1 million, $10 million, $100 million. And every single strategy is different. And your 0 to 100 is the hardest, because that's all off your own sweat of your back. It's really hard. You just got to grind it out, get 100K, and you that's it, you've done it. But now to make $1 million, the next step is you got to be able to create the role that's satisfying enough to an entrepreneur, like you said, that's going to work for $100,000, but give you $1 million worth of value. And most of the time, you're right, it is a confidence thing. I always thought, I'm like, well, if I was that person, I would never accept that role. I would want 50% equity. I would want a partnership. So in turn, we think that, well, this is what this guy's going to want. So let me make him a partner. Let me give him everything that I would want and treat him as an equal. And in the end, I realized not everybody wants that. Not everybody wants that. No. And you got to let people be. Yeah. And I had a lot of times that I was like, bro, why do you have these stupid hobbies? Why do you do this? Why do you do that? Just focus on the business. And then I realized, I'm like, I'm literally building him into something that he's eventually going to explode in. And that's literally what happened to me as well. A partner blew up. He couldn't handle it. And then he said, I wish I just stayed in my role and you paid me like what I fucking wanted. Yeah. And I was like,
yeah. I had this conversation with my brother-in-law. And I'm like, man, you're so smart. Like, why not just create your own business? Like, I just don't get it. He said, Joe, I'm an employee. I have a great job. I make really good money. I have my holidays. I have my pay arrive every single month. I know exactly how much is coming in. I get my bonuses. I have my promotions. I have my 3 holidays a year. I come home to your sister, to my family, to a beautiful house. I couldn't be happier. Why would I want to have the stress that I've seen you go through? I'm like, okay, fair enough.
People want different things, man. People want different things.
And I thought about it. I'm like, why doesn't everyone try and have their own business? They don't have the stress. Yeah. Some people are just happy living the life of an employee, and there's nothing wrong with it. Yeah. Until someone challenges you, it's like, I thought there was something wrong with you, but entrepreneurs have a very different mindset to an employee.
Dude, the alchemy of cortisol into stress or cortisol into action and power and energy and intensity works differently for people. And I feel the more stressed I am, the more energy I get. The more difficult something is, the more defiant and stubborn I become into accomplishing it. True. Where I can imagine a lot of people, they feel that and they're averse to it. They're like, I don't like this feeling. Why would I choose to feel like this every day? Yeah. What's the point? Yeah. And to me, I've never had a hobby. Yeah. I've never had a hobby. Like I can't even, like, even the things that I love, like I love cars, but it's like I
business
love it.
Is a hobby.
Business is a hobby. This is what I do every day. I could never imagine like going and like I'll do it sometimes just for fun with a buddy or whatever, but something small. I love cars. I love fuck around driving this and that. But I can't sit there and wrench on a car, and I just pay for it. It's fucking, hey, do this so it's done, and then I can enjoy it more. And then that's it. Whereas some people, like, they literally can't wait to get off work and go do something. And to me, I'm like, that is the biggest waste of time, because you're doing 50 things at once and you're only getting good at none of them.
So true, bro. Crazy, right? Key to success, just work harder.
Just work harder. Bro, let's hit the rapid fire round, man. I got a couple of quick questions I want to run by you and see what you think. What is a book that changed your life?
Book that changed my life, How to Win Friends and Influence.
Amazing. Very, very good book.
Especially in the industry I was in, especially in hospitality. It's how can you make someone feel special? And I always say to people, the easiest way to sell to someone, or the easy way to break ice, or if you go networking and you're trying to meet people, give them a compliment. Yeah. Easy. Yeah. Who doesn't like compliments? It's such a great icebreaker. Tell me more. Yeah.
Exactly.
Let me speak to you.
Yeah. Best money you ever spent?
First, I'd say investing into Jeremy Minor. My first big 10K. Yeah, that definitely changed my life.
Amazing.
So investing into a sales coach.
Love it. Biggest red flag in a person?
Biggest red flag in a person. Business or personal?
Both. Do both.
And they don't... Very good question. When they just talk about business straight away before even knowing what you do. I don't want to just talk business. I want to be able to break ice, right? Get a compliment, understand someone on a personal level. And then I also would say people that try to sell something to you before even understanding what you want.
Mm-hmm.
That just drives me absolutely insane.
Yeah.
So just give an example. I got invited to represent digital nomads at the Chamber of Commerce in Medellin. So did a talk in front of 1,000 people. Then I felt like a celebrity. I'm standing outside and there's queues of people lining up, trying to talk to me. Everyone there tried to sell me something. I'm like, I'm here to provide value, but you don't know who I am, what I want, and you're just trying to sell. So for me, that's a red flag. But at the same time, I see it as an opportunity to be able to educate them if they're open to it. So I try not to see too many red flags. I just try to see opportunity.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
It does. What's one belief that you've changed your mind on recently?
What's one belief that I've changed my mind on recently? That is a very good question. I would say debt is good. Going into debt is good. Using other people's money is good. Before, I used to have a poor man's mindset where I'd only spend my own money.
Mm-hmm.
But being able to use other people's money made me successful.
OPM, baby.
OPM, yeah.
That's it.
So it helped me get to where I am now.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
Dude, give a shout out to Nomadic Closer House. Tell them what it is.
So, wow, where do I start? So let's quickly talk about Nomadic Closer. So Nomadic Closer is a recruitment agency where we help high-ticket closers, setters, CSMs, managers land really good roles in really good businesses. The biggest thing is, and the difference between what we do and other recruiters is we don't charge upfront fees. What we do is we charge on the back end. So we'd rather business owners use the money they're going to spend on a closer upfront, put it into ads, make money, and kind of get a closer for free. So that is what we do in a nutshell. And we also help businesses scale by implementing sales systems. Any high-ticket business owner that has a 3 to 50K products, that's who we help.
Amazing. Final words for the world. If you had 60 seconds, what would you say?
Find a mentor that has what you want, is living the life that you want, and don't be scared to invest.
Love it, man. How can people get in touch with you?
Instagram, it's Joel Elster. So at Joel Elster on Instagram. So that's the easiest way.
And Nomadic Closer has a page as well, right?
And Nomadic Closer has a page as well. NomadicCloser.recruitment.
Love it. Love it. Brother, thank you so much, my man. Always a pleasure.
Appreciate it, sir. Absolute pleasure being here. Great interviewer. Love the questions. Made me think a bit as well. So appreciate you.
I love it. I learned a lot about you that I didn't know before. So that's a lot more things to follow up now.
Love that, brother. Thanks for your time.
Hey, guys, until next time, this is Nemology and Joel Elster, guys.
Appreciate you. Ciao for now.
What a journey. In today's episode, Joel reminded us that success isn't a straight line. It's chapters, some glamorous, some painful, and some break you open so you can rebuild with purpose. From Dubai nightlife to losing everything during the pandemic to reinventing himself as a top closer and building Nomadic Closer. His story is proof that clarity and transformation come when you're willing to face yourself. If something resonated with you today, take a moment and reflect on your own path. What chapter are you ready to close? And which one are you ready to open? And as always, thank you for listening to Nemology. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and stay tuned because the next episode might be the breakthrough you've been waiting for.